Welcome to AI Explained. For our very first deep dive, we are tackling a topic that's been generating a lot of buzz.
Uh-oh.
The implications of using Chinese-developed AI in products sold globally.
Yeah.
You've sent over some fascinating articles and social media posts, and I have to say some of this stuff is pretty surprising.
It is interesting how this seemingly niche issue with a specific e-reader
Right.
actually opens up a much bigger conversation about the evolving landscape of AI development and its global reach.
Right, like who knew e-readers could be so controversial?
Yeah.
This whole thing blew up on Reddit and got picked up by tech blogs and YouTubers all over.
Yeah.
It all started with this Buck's e-reader and its AI assistant. For those who missed it, can you give us a quick rundown of what happens?
Sure. So the Bucks e-reader, which is sold internationally,
Yeah.
was found to be using an AI model called Dubao,
Okay.
developed by the Chinese tech giant ByteDance. You might know them as the company behind TikTok.
Hold on, ByteDance as in the TikTok people.
Yes.
I had no idea they were this deep into AI.
They're a major player in the tech world, and their AI capabilities are getting pretty sophisticated. But what really set off alarm bells was that the book's e-reader, by using Dubao, started giving responses that seemed to align with Chinese government propaganda.
Okay, now that's where things get really interesting. So we're talking about an e-reader, a device meant for reading, essentially becoming a platform for a particular viewpoint.
Yeah.
What kind of responses are we talking about here?
Well, for example, when users asked the AI assistant about sensitive events like the Tiananmen Square protests, it denied any knowledge of massacres by the Chinese government.
Wow.
It even referred to events like the Uyghur situation in Xinjiang
Right.
as so-called incidents.
Wow, so it wasn't just avoiding sensitive topics, it was actively presenting a very specific narrative as fact. That's a big deal, especially when you consider that many users might not even realize the AI they're interacting with is coming from a particular cultural or political context.
Exactly, and it gets even more nuanced when you consider the technical differences between AI models. For instance, OpenAI's GPT-3, a popular model used in many Western applications, is trained on a massive and diverse data set of text and code from the internet. This means it's exposed to a wider range of perspectives and viewpoints.
So it's not just about where the AI is developed,
Right.
but also about the data it's trained on and how that influences its outputs. That makes a lot of sense. But hold on a second. If Dubao was meant for the Chinese market,
Yeah,
why would books even use it in an e-reader sold internationally?
that's a great question. It's possible they simply underestimated the potential for controversy. Remember, we're still in the early days of AI adoption in consumer products. Perhaps they were focused on functionality and cost-effectiveness without fully considering the potential implications of using a model trained on a different data set.
It's almost like they accidentally stumbled into our minefield, right? I mean, the backlash was pretty immediate and intense. Did Bucks ever address the situation?
Yes, and their response was quite telling. After the controversy went viral, they reportedly switched back to using OpenAI's GPT-3. This suggests they might not have fully anticipated the negative reaction or were unprepared to handle the PR fallout.
That's fascinating. It almost feels like a real-time case study in the complexities of global AI development and the ethical considerations that come with it.
Absolutely. And this incident should serve as a cautionary tale for other companies developing and deploying AI products.
So it's not just about building cool tech. It's about thinking about the potential impact of that tech
Yeah.
and ensuring it aligns with ethical standards and user expectations, even if those expectations vary across different cultures and regions.
Yeah. It really highlights the need for a more thoughtful approach to AI integration. We need to move beyond simply focusing on what AI can do and start thinking more critically about how it's developed
Right.
and the potential unintended consequences of its deployment.
So this Books incident, while specific to one product, actually raises some pretty big questions about the future of AI development in general. I mean, are we headed towards a world where AI is fragmented with different regions developing AI that reflects their own values and priorities?
That's certainly a possibility, and it's something we need to be mindful of. We're already seeing signs of this with the rise of Chinese AI, which is often trained on datasets that are quite different from those used in the West.
Right.
This could lead to a situation where the AI you interact with varies significantly depending on where it was developed and the data it was exposed to.
So imagine a world where your AI assistant in the US gives you a completely different answer than your friend's AI assistant in China, even if you ask the same question. It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And it presents both opportunities and challenges.
Yeah.
On the one hand, it's fascinating to think about AI reflecting the diversity of human thought and culture, but it also raises concerns about how we ensure responsible and ethical AI development across different regions, especially when those regions have different approaches to data privacy, freedom of speech, and government oversight.
That's a really good point. So how do we even begin to address these concerns? Like, what can companies, developers, and even policymakers do to mitigate the risks of AI bias and ensure that AI is used ethically no matter where it's developed or deployed?
That's the million-dollar question, and there's no easy answer. But I think transparency is a good place to start. Companies should be upfront about the origins of the AI models they use and the data those models are trained on. Users have a right to know what's going on behind the scenes, especially when it comes to something as potentially influential as AI.
So no more hiding behind vague terms like advanced AI or proprietary algorithms.
Exactly.
Users need clear and concise information to make informed decisions about the AI products they choose. Is there anything else that can be done?
Absolutely. Promoting diversity in the development of AI is crucial. We need more diverse voices and perspectives involved in creating these models to ensure they don't simply reflect the dominant culture or ideology of the company or region where they're created.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
A more diverse range of input should lead to a more balanced and representative output.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. Demanding transparency and pushing for more diversity in AI development is great in theory, but how do we actually make that happen? Seems like a pretty daunting task, especially with the rapid pace of technological advancement.
It is a challenge, no doubt, but I think there are a few key things we can focus on. First, we need to foster more open collaboration between researchers, developers, and policymakers from different countries and cultures.
Sure.
Sharing knowledge, best practices, and ethical frameworks can help us move towards a more globally aligned approach to AI development.
So it's about building bridges and fostering dialogue, not just within the tech industry, but across different sectors and societies.
Exactly. And we also need to invest in research and development of tools and techniques that can help us detect and mitigate bias in AI systems.
Okay.
Think of it like developing an AI bias detector that can analyze the decision-making processes of AI models and flag potential biases that might not be immediately apparent.
That sounds incredibly useful, almost like a safety net to help us catch potential issues before they become major problems. But even with all these measures in place, it seems like there's still a risk that AI could be used for purposes that are not aligned with human values. I mean, we've all seen those sci-fi movies where AI goes rogue. Is that something we should be genuinely worried about?
It's important to distinguish between science fiction and reality. While it's true that AI has the potential to be misused, it's also a tool that can be used for immense good. The key is to focus on developing AI that is aligned with human values and goals. This means incorporating ethical considerations into the design and development process from the very beginning, and ensuring that AI is used in a way that benefits humanity as a whole.
So it's not about fearing AI or trying to stifle its progress, but rather about us steering it in a direction that's positive and beneficial for everyone.
Precisely. And that's something that requires a collective effort. It's not just the responsibility of tech companies or governments. We as individuals and as a society have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
So what can our listeners do? How can they be part of this conversation and contribute to a more responsible and ethical AI future?
Great question. It starts with staying informed. Read about AI developments, follow the discussions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Challenge assumptions, be critical of the information you encounter, and demand transparency from the companies developing and deploying AI products.
So don't just passively consume AI-powered products. Be an active participant in understanding how they work and what potential implications they might have.
Exactly. You can also support organizations and initiatives that are working to promote responsible AI development. There are many groups out there advocating for ethical AI, pushing for more transparency, and working to ensure that AI benefits all of humanity. Your support can make a real difference.
It's amazing to think about how much ground we've covered
Yeah.
just by digging into this one e-reader incident. It really does feel like a microcosm of all the bigger questions surrounding AI development.
It is. It's a reminder that AI is not just some abstract technology, It's already woven into the fabric of our lives.
Right.
And it's going to play an even bigger role in the future.
Right.
So understanding its complexities and potential impact is crucial for everyone, not just tech experts.
I think what struck me most about this whole conversation is how important it is for us to be proactive and engaged with AI development. It's not something that's just going to happen to us.
Right.
We have a say in how AI shapes our world.
Right. Absolutely. We can demand transparency, support ethical development, and educate ourselves about the potential benefits and risks of AI. It's about shaping the future we want, not just passively accepting whatever comes our way.
I love that perspective.
Mhm.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with? What's the one thing you hope they'll remember?
I think the most important message is that AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. The responsibility lies with us as developers, users, and citizens to ensure that AI is used in a way that benefits humanity and aligns with our values.
That's a great way to put it. It's
Yeah.
a call to action, a
Yeah.
reminder that we're not just passengers on this AI journey. We're the ones holding the map and steering the wheel.
Exactly. And the more informed and engaged we are,
Right.
the better equipped we'll be to navigate the exciting and sometimes challenging terrain ahead.
Well said. And on that note, I want to thank you, our listeners, for joining us on this very first episode of AI Explained.
Yeah.
We hope you found this deep dive informative and thought-provoking.
We're excited to continue exploring the world of AI with you, uncovering fascinating insights and tackling the big questions that this technology raises.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our channel for more deep dives to come. We'll be covering a wide range of AI topics, from the latest breakthroughs to the ethical dilemmas and everything in between.
And as always, we encourage you to keep thinking critically, asking questions, and engaging in the conversation about the future of AI.
Until next time, stay curious.